For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Buju Banton. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast goes up until 2 o'clock this afternoon with your calls and your WhatsApp messages, your discussions, 452-297. I will get you on the air, as well as 716-2026. And Kimani is making a final presence on the program before she embarks on her studies. So, let us get off with this clip, which we introduced you to sometime last week, and it's worth a reminder because of what is happening.
What's the two political parties in Jamaica?
I don't give a about political parties.
That should be one of the political parties.
you know, because you see, it's two sides of the same kind.
Yeah, absolutely.
We hope for change and we hope say, but you have to understand that a country is basically a corporation which an elected official as a CEO.
Mm. Yep.
A lot of people think a prime minister run a country, but you have to understand that these are CEO of the company called the country.
It's the board.
And my board members, they have to answer.
Right.
Sometimes these board members are so powerful that these shit in their pants when they get a phone call from. You can't tell me that in the Caribbean, we cannot improve our standard of living for our people. And as a disaster, I'm going to run going out begging left, right, and center. And these are the same who have came into politics with $3,000 in their bank account US and leaving politics with 600,000 million.
Yeah.
So where this millions come from? But the Caribbean people are so passive. I think they put something in our water over the years. We're not fighting anymore. We're accepting. We're not standing up anymore. We're laying down.
Right.
And these we call our politicians, the real criminals and the real crooks, they're having a blast. Because there's no check and balance. Check and balance don't come from your cronies. Check and balance come from people who feel the pain.
Right.
And that's why you see what, like even in Kenya, they were taken aback. They didn't know that the young men and the young women of Kenya had their ducks so much in a row that they could tell each politician what they owned and where they live and where the investments were. That shook them. So we realized that, you know, in the region, we have to do better as the leaders. We need to stop elect people based on their skin color and them being charming. It should be on your mandate. And we have to hold your feet to the fire to accomplish what you promised. Simple.
If only we would do that in St. Lucia. So, the head of the island's government has been making the rounds on St. Lucia's talk show circuit. And you know why? Because he's out to promote a particular event. And one of my colleagues believes that, you know, that is certainly something that is worthwhile. And also the fact that he has failed to appear on this program, giving the impression as if this is an indictment on NewsSpin. Well, clearly it is not an indictment. And let's listen to the individual in question.
Boss la tout partout. Nous ka tune in les MBC. Oui, moi dou bo côté c'est flamboyant qui mon nom là encore. Un bon André Paul. Oui, so ici ya bon André Paul. Oui, boss la tout partout de là ka Boston li. Mais pas some kai bo Timothy.
He knows why he will not make an appearance on this broadcast, because of the level of questioning that he'll be subjected to. Because as a journalist, I'm not easily distracted. I am focused. I ask pointed questions. And if I should say so, I believe that the most important question is the follow-up question. What is before us right now in this country is clearly the serious crime problem that we are experiencing. And the politicians of the day, those who are primarily in office at this point in time, they would like you to focus on those particular issues that have been presented to you, and where they're giving the impression that those are the issues that should be of concern to you. They want to dictate the discussion. They want to ensure that they think for you. They want to tell you that, the various investments they have made in a number of other areas, those are the things that you should be focusing on, as opposed to what is affecting you directly. And we are talking about the crime problem. In the case of St. Lucia, we have a prime minister who is afraid to say to the people of this country that I take responsibility, personal responsibility for your safety. That is definitely his weak point, and I'm talking about the crime problem in this country. And he wants to move away from it. He does not want to see it as a priority, because that is where he has clearly failed you, the people of St. Lucia. But let's listen to the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, his counterpart, and that is Gaston Brown. And Mr. Brown spoke in Antigua. He delivered an address to the nation in Antigua earlier this week. And he said, among other things, I take personal responsibility for your safety. Okay, I do that. And I'm answerable to the people of this country as far as your safety is concerned. Well, in the case of St. Lucia, don't expect our Prime Minister to say that. And momentarily, we'll be getting a clip from Mr. Gaston Brown, who is the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda.
You and your children have an inalienable right to live free from fear, assured that your safety and well-being are of our highest priorities. This is not just a duty. It is an obligation that neither I, as your Prime Minister, nor any member of your government will ever shrink from or apologize for. It's an obligation for which I accept full responsibility as your chief servant.
in the case of the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, even the host of a program that he appeared on earlier today took issue with the fact that the Prime Minister has not been demonstrating his disgust with the level of crime that is occurring in St. Lucia. And also, he has not been directly addressing the criminals of this country. And let us hear Andrew Paul expressing his concerns to the Prime Minister when he appeared on his radio station, Rev Up St. Lucia, earlier today.
I've heard a few statements from leaders from other Caribbean countries, like, say, for example, Trinidad. Very, very, very strong words from the Trinidad Prime Minister, as well as the Antigua Prime Minister, the Jamaica Prime Minister. But, Mr. Prime Minister, unless I'm wrong, please correct me, okay? Considering all these homicides which have taken place in St. Lucia, especially the 2 double homicides and that one where it was done near a preschool, to me, I haven't heard you or the Minister for Crime Prevention come out and say anything to condemn that sort of behavior. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
You haven't heard us condemn it?
Yeah, publicly. These incidents that I mentioned that to you, there were 2 double homicides, right? The killing of the 13-year-old boy in Deriso, and also that gentleman who was shot and killed near a preschool. As I said, I haven't heard you say anything publicly. So am I wrong?
You're very wrong. You're very wrong. But I will not discuss the style of prime ministers. Prime ministers have their own style. I have a unique style that the people of St. Lucia supported. Right? I'm not in the mode of talk. You heard Prime Minister of St. Lucia before, just talk. Say what he didn't say, etc. I'm in the mode of doing something. And what I am doing is I'm speaking the truth. I am speaking the truth as far as crime and criminality is concerned. I'm speaking the truth.
Well, Mr. Prime Minister,
and I'm doing the truth. I'm doing things too.
Mr. Prime Minister,
yes.
The Jamaica Prime Minister, the Antigua Prime Minister.
Why you want to put me in?
No, I'm just saying they all.
And in Jamaica, there was a murder of there were 17 people got killed. 9 got killed.
9. Yes, it got killed.
And 9 got killed.
9 were injured.
9, exactly.
The point I'm making is that these prime ministers came out and condemned it. That's what I'm saying. So you're saying this is not your style of coming to condemn?
I condemn it all the time.
No,
I'm saying to you, but you don't hear me in the press conferences. So tell me, Andre, let's be logical. Let's be logical. I mean, forget about what you want to think of. Do you think any prime minister would support crime?
No, definitely not.
Exactly.
Mr. Prime
So
Minister.
you think
but don't you
my father's a policeman, and which you don't want me to see. You think I would condemn?
Hold on.
Not you. Okay. And you be friends, man. Why you mustn't get involved in this conflict thing? I guess you suspect you're talking too much to people who like conflict. We must be harmonious. We have to let the country run. We have to have discussion. We can't be always at each other. You must talk to me a little more on Fridays.
Yeah, but Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, I am very. I'm sorry. I'm not the only one. Right? There are lots of St. Lucians who hate. I use a strong word. Who hate what's happening as far as crime is concerned.
I too.
Hold on. And on my shows, I constantly condemn the behavior, condemn it, right? And I'm saying, who am I at the end of the day condemning? I feel that those in authority should also be condemning, coming out publicly and letting these individuals know we're not going to put up with that foolishness.
Let me tell you something. Let me ask you something, Andrew. Every day, every time I get up in the morning, think about 2 things: climate change, climate events, and crime. Every day in my life. But what do? I manifest it in action. I manifest it in training the police.
The Prime Minister does not understand that, quite apart from the action that he's referring to, and that is not being manifested in terms of effectively tackling the crime problem, also what should come with that, with the necessary talk. Speak directly to the criminal elements in our country. And the Prime Minister has failed to do this primarily because he believes that by doing so, it will demonstrate the government's poor performance in that crucial area. And therefore, he knows how to play the politics he believes that remain quiet on crime that certainly will remove the people's attention from this particular scourge. But the people are being affected directly, and they understand exactly what is happening in this country. It is not by accident that the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Drew, has been speaking openly and strongly about the crime problem in his country. Likewise, in Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley. In Jamaica, Andrew Holness. In the case of St. Lucia, deafening silence on the part of the Prime Minister. And it is not as if he's not speaking out on the various issues that are pertaining to his government, but realize what he is speaking about. It really does not manifest itself in terms of what is affecting the wider St. Lucian society. Let's take your calls right now at 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And let's say good afternoon to you, Kimani. Getting all set to go overseas to study as of next week. And you've made a surprise appearance on the broadcast today. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. You will be going through some of the comments in the chat room. I don't know if there are any comments there.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome, ma'am, and thank you for accepting.
In the chat, we have a few comments. Someone says, this is why he'd never come on NewsSpin. He don't like the hard-hitting questions. Someone sighs in defeat saying, Abe boy pi our PM. Another comment, someone says, asking pertinent questions means one likes conflict, Mr. PM. Another comment, someone says, PJP, we don't know your father. Andre, we are friends. Don't get involved in these questions.
We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Tim, everything good?
Everything is okay. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. My opinion, My opinion. I believe that the Prime Minister, basically today, is granted a platform.
No, we can't hear you too clearly, caller. You have to speak up.
Prime Minister, in my opinion, today was granted a platform to expose whatever it is that he figured he needed to. I think that there was not enough scrutiny by the various hosts, right? In terms of the pertinent, poignant questions, burning questions, I find that his feet were not put to the fire enough. So, he basically, in my opinion, got away for free pass.
Okay, caller.
Yeah? There are burning issues that needed to be addressed that were not addressed. And he was not confronted, in my opinion, in the way that I expected.
All right, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. That's 716-2026. Somebody says via WhatsApp, the more I listen to the Prime Minister, the more I hear Trump. And Kimani, any more comments?
Someone says, when it's convenient to you, you will relate to other countries, but that one you don't want to be in it. Someone says, a unique style of cluelessness and gaslighting. Another comment, the PM needs to hear the speech from the Premier of Nevis. Someone says, Andre asked him about that. His response was an F. That's it for me.
Thank you so much. Take, for example, when the Prime Minister has constantly told us that this matter involving Philippe Martinez and CIP and Mr. Claude Emmanuel has nothing to do with St. Lucia. St. Lucia is not part of the RICO case, according to the Prime Minister. But yet still, who is footing the legal bills of Mr. McClaude Emmanuel? You'll hear in just a bit. But we continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Let me see if I have any of your messages to go through right now while we are waiting your calls at 452-2979 and 716-2026, your WhatsApp calls. We have a WhatsApp call in line. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
I have been speaking at length about all issues throughout the year. Tim, I am tired. As far as I am concerned, no prime minister can look at you and tell you that allegations upon allegations are happening in his cabinet, and he is telling you that he does not know. Okay, after what came out on what day before yesterday, as far as I'm concerned, this prime minister need to put down his tools and call elections, because there's no point of him being there. He does not know anything. He does not take action on anything. He cannot speak on anything. There's no point in him being there. Let somebody else run the country. Have a good day.
That's it, caller? Okay, thank you so much for your contribution. 452-2979. Once again, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. You would believe or think that general elections will be held on Sunday. That is because of all the energy that is being exhibited by the St. Lucian leader, all the zeal that is being displayed by him in promoting his own political event. But when it comes to speaking again about those critical issues impacting the people of this country, and I'm saying again, crime, that is a major issue. And you can work all your magic behind the scenes, and you do not address this publicly, if you do not address the criminals, if you not take the fight to them head on, this will not amount to anything tangible. This will not produce the kind of effective results that you want, because the Prime Minister is hoping that the criminal elements in the society will assume that he is serious when it comes to fighting crime. And how can you appear to be serious when you are so silent, when you speak about crime en passant, as if it is not an issue? When, for example, Antigua and Barbuda, with 10 homicides, that prompted the Prime Minister there to host an address to the nation. That's how serious Prime Minister Brown took this issue. But in the case of St. Lucia, he's dealing with it in a haphazard kind of manner. Somebody says, I think our Prime Minister is on medication and most times he does not walk with it. Can somebody remind the Prime Minister to walk with his medication? All right, let's turn our attention now to Kimani and the chat room. Any more comments?
In the chat, someone says, why didn't PJP take the opportunity to speak against crime instead of defending his silence? And I quite agree. Another comment in the chat, someone says, PJP reminds me of the characters on Sesame Street. I just can't seem to remember its name. Let's see. The man said, Prime Ministers have a different style. Wow, just wow. That is it.
Thank you so much. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. Prime ministers have different styles, but there's some things that are uniform, particularly right now in the era of technology and so many talk shows, and in the era of social media, using the various platforms, and in the era also of addressing the issues that are affecting your constituents. Take, for example, the United States. Inflation is an issue. The high cost of living is an issue in the United States. And Kamala Harris, the Democratic presidential candidate, is not ignoring it. She is addressing it, because that's what matters to the people of the United States. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Timothy. How are you? Good afternoon,
I'm okay.
Kimani.
Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Timothy, I have been, I've been trying to restrain myself on commenting on some of the things, but I think, I think I needed to comment on a few things that have happened during the week. And that goes with our health situation and the monies. I see monies, in all over the place, and our health sector is seriously lacking resources.
And by the way, if I could
You know?
identify you as a medical
Yes.
doctor, Dr. Sylvia Wilson. Continue, Doc.
Yes. Now, Timothy, the situation at OKEU is like a runaway train. It's a runaway train. I think the SLMDA has only touched the tip of the iceberg. And I think more monies need to go into that hospital. Not only resources, because you cannot have a hospital running on bare minimum. No medication, not even for the mental cases in the mental wellness center, in the ICU, in the ER, in the neonatal unit. In most of these areas, the pharmacy is lacking in drugs. You understand? Also, the emergency room, the situation of a 9-month-old baby in the emergency room and waiting for 3 hours is unacceptable. And one of the main problems at OKEU is a lack of protocols. The hospital, the management, the board, and the clinical staff, together with the heads of department, need to have protocols in place. You cannot run a hospital without protocols. That is madness. Having protocols is what we call checks and balances. All right? If you do not have that, people die. People die. So you cannot have a child, 9-month-old, waiting in an emergency room. What is the level of triage in the emergency room? What's the organization in the emergency room? I understand the emergency room right now is overwhelmed because Castries Health Center is closed. Also, Victoria Hospital is closed. So you have, that backlog on the emergency room. And I mean, it is madness, total madness that's going on. So I think a total investigation has to go on at OKEU. All right, protocols have to be put in place, a serious triaging system, what you call the emergency severity index, which means that you can triage properly cases when they come in, and so that you avoid people dying unnecessarily. But what is going on at OKEU? It's out of range. All right. The other thing is that I think the clinical staff, the consultants, all right, because Dr. Clark needs to mention that, because you have some people working at OKEU, working at Tapio, and some patients do not see them. Do not see some of the consultants. 4 days. You do not see the consultants. They do not come and do runs. They come there for 2 hours and they go on their business. You cannot be paid by government to supervise junior staff and also to see patients, and you're not there. Okay? And people who are unstable, they die. All right, so they need protocols in that particular place. And the other point I want to make here is that we have St. Jude's Hospital being run by a board. There is the coordination between the clinical staff and the board, no matter which government that's in power. All right, what is the problem with a new hospital? 4 years. 4 years. You cannot have proper coordination with the clinical staff and the board and so on. And the board doesn't run the hospital. The heads of department should have protocols in place so that they can have the staff, the doctors, accountable for cases to come in and to ensure that people are stabilized and get the necessary treatment, and when they leave hospital, or in other words, to get the care that is necessary. Are you understanding me, team?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think and also the accreditation by the Canadians, all right? Because I think, okay, EU has to get accreditation by the Canadians, whether the people are doing what is necessary. So government, not only the resources that needs to be placed into the hospital, because as we saw, COVID locked down our country, or locked down the world and locked down the world economies, all right? So any disease, infectious disease can lock down a country. So it is necessary that we invest in our health care in this country. Because if we don't, we cannot have productive people and we cannot have an economy that is productive for our nation.
Now,
So
Dr. Wilson, hold on there.
here
Dr.
we-
Wilson, hold on there.
Yes.
I think people who are listening to this and watching this broadcast right now might be asking themselves and probably might want me to ask you the question. They believe that the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association should bear some of the blame because they have just been too quiet for far too long, because a number of the areas which were raised in that letter to the board of the OKEU, those issues have been lingering for a while now. Why this last-minute approach?
I agree with you. I agree with you, Timothy, because let me tell you something. If your doctors are being faced with pressure, you are supposed to sit with the board and sit with the government constantly and letting them know what you need and what is going on. And you also need to hold your members to a standard. You understand me? Not because things are bad. St. Jude's has been going through a lot of pressure for 14 years or more. But are they dropping the ball? All right? Are they dropping the ball? Do they have all the resources that EU has? No. But they continue with constant discussion with the board, constant discussion with the clinical staff, constant discussion with protocols, and doing the best that they can. All right. So also SLMDA has to hold their members to a very high standard. Also, they have to put the pressure on the board and government to ensure that patients do not come and die. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? And you cut a baby died waiting for 3 hours when you're supposed to triage a baby within the 15 minutes of arrival. All right. Dehydration can cause a patient to die, vomiting, diarrhea, fever, seizures. All of these things can have a baby dying, and even complications. And nobody cares. And all you can tell the relatives is, okay, we are sorry. No, I think we need to demand better. We need better, and we need to hold the various people accountable and to a higher standard. And let me tell you something, that also with my profession too, and my colleagues too, all right? But government has to play its part in giving us the resources so that we can do. And we have to have the protocols to deal with what is going on. You understand me? Because our people are dying. Everybody's passing through it. My family member has gone through a failure of the system. All right? So all of us are going through it. So listen, I think that is not the first time. They should continue dialoguing. Not only because changing the board doesn't solve the problem. You have a whole lot of problems that got to be dealt with. And I'm saying one of the main things would be the accreditation and protocols and the coordination of the board with clinical staff in that hospital. And of course, foremost and on the list of resources, okay? And the fifth finger of OKU needs to be constructed. All right, Timothy?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much
All right,
for your
okay.
contribution. Just so there from Dr. Sylvia Wilson. So finally, the professionals are coming out because they are being impacted either on the job or personally. We continue at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a WhatsApp call. Good afternoon to you. You're on the air.
Hello, good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, Kimani.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Hi, good afternoon.
I have been taking a break for a while just listening, but today I have to call because, and it's on the CIP program, I'm making this contribution because I'm getting a little puzzled with the Prime Minister. When this government campaigned in 2021, the mantra was on corruption. The previous administration was corrupt and corrupt and corrupt. When the government, after the government won the election, the government told us we have to do some research, some studies, some digging in, some everything to make sure that everything is above board before we begin to manage the affairs of this country. Months later, the government came back and told us about all of the things that they found corrupt. The housing development, the airport, the hospital, the road development in Rosalie, a ton of stuff. And if the government did all this research of all of the operations that was taking place by the previous administration, I would think that CIP would be one of the operations that the government was conducting, that this government would have done some studies, some research on to make sure that everything was above board. But apparently, the government didn't find anything wrong with this here, right? So why is it now that the government is pointing fingers at the opposition leader in saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, that when they took over CIP, they continued to conduct it the way it was being conducted by the previous administration. So if that's what they did, why is it now that all of this accusations and what have you has come out that this administration is blaming the previous administration for the debacle they find themselves in? Right? I don't understand this one. Secondly, the government came and charged the people of St. Lucia 2.5%, they call it levy, which is part of the VAT. They increased the VAT. Mm-hmm. And for security and health. Health has been in the decline for years, it's true, but it has gotten worse. I have never heard so many people call on any program about the health sector as it has been, which the doctor finally wrote to the board complaining about those things. Now, why is it that the government charging us 2.5% levy for health, and yet right now that this debacle with CIP has come out, the government realizes that it has money from CIP to invest into the health sector? Why didn't the government, for the years they came into office and they found what was wrong, what was right, what have you, and the people started basically complaining about the health sector, why didn't the government use part of the CIP money way back when, before they increased the 2.5% levy on the people of St. Lucia, when the CIP had money, supposed to have had money in the reserve? It seems that right now the government can find, and the Prime Minister especially, because he's the one who comes out and tells us what he'll do with the money. A few weeks ago, when the balloon burst, it was about, okay, we're going to use CIP money, we'll build houses at Marchand, we'll build houses in Soufrière, we'll build houses all over the place from the CIP money. Why these people are continuing to piss in the St. Lucian people's eye and call it rain? But on the other hand, I'm blaming the St. Lucian people. They have allowed this to happen to them, right? We have become like sheep. And I can tell you, I have seen sheep act more intelligently than most of our people in this country, right? Because there was a flock of sheep crossing the road at Massad every afternoon, and off and on one of them would get killed. And finally, the matriarch of that flock of sheep actually witnessed it, decide that it will stop and allow the traffic to free up and then cross the road. The Labour Party has been pissing in these people's eyes for so long, and the people who suffers more from this government's operation and attitude towards the public and the population are the ones who continue to vote for these people in masses. So our people have become less intelligent than sheep. They just follow, they shut up, they say nothing. And this is why I haven't called for a few weeks, because the people who are calling are least affected by what is happening on the ground to the population, the poorest people in our midst, the people who need to use the hospital, right? And I don't know why these people continue to vote for these people. And I think some of us who have our voices on your program most of the time should stop calling. So stop complaining about what's happening in this country and leave it to the masses, the people who usually go out in thousands and vote for the Labour Party so that they could give them to cut some grass on the side of the road. Let them take the mantle and start complaining. Go out there and demonstrate, like Rick says all the time. Go out there and demonstrate. Don't wait for Shasney to start a demonstration or call a demonstration. Shasney is traveling right now. Shasney can eat whichever way he wants, how he wants, what he wants. Okay? It's you that's been squeezing. You go out there, put your butt out there and come and demonstrate against what this government is doing to you. Timothy, I thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. And definitely, if the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association had not taken the fight to the government and directly to the board of the OKEU and wrote that letter, the Prime Minister would not have seen the necessity to invest some $10 million of CIP funds into that health institution. And also, as George Orwell wrote in his 1984 book, and making reference to the feeling that very often there are people and institutions who want to make you believe that what you're seeing is not actually the real thing. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. That's what some people like to make you believe. And also, in St. Lucia, as far as this administration is concerned, it would set up various institutions and mechanisms just to prove that it's ironing certain problems. So when you create a ministry with responsibility for crime prevention, what you're saying there is that, boy, we are putting various quote-unquote overused mechanisms in place to deal with the problem. In that same 1984 book of George Orwell, reference is being made to a ministry of plenty. When people are seeing misery, a ministry of love when people are being battered and people are being taken advantage of. You have the thought police to help you think, in a particular manner to try to hoodwink you. And of course, you have the fiction department. People who, in the case of St. Lucia, maybe a guy is somewhere at his mom and his father's home and putting a few videos together and, trying to twist things so that he could see a particular individuals in a particular image, where you try to sully that person's reputation through various videos and various things that amount to fiction. So you create a fiction department. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We continue with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. And the Prime Minister is being asked, who is footing the legal bill of the head of the CIP unit in St. Lucia?
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's funeral home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
A newly renovated home is a special feeling, and lighting can be a big part of that. Like the LED seasonal lights many now use for energy saving and safety over the holidays. It's worth the effort to install LED lights everywhere, and you don't have to be an expert to change a bulb. Remember to turn off all lights when not in use. This includes LED lights. Saving energy is what's smart.
School start back, KFC got your back. With a back to school deal, it's a tasty pack. Just 12 dollars, oh what a deal. Come and get your fill, it's a steal.
But that's not all. Purchase any back-to-school meal for a chance to win one of 5 backpacks filled with school supplies and a brand new laptop.
Write your name, drop it in the box. KFC got the deals that totally rock. Hurry in before August 30th and sign on. Charge on the 31st, come before it's gone. KFC said we'll show we the best around. KFC is the talk of the town. It's finger licking good.
Visit kfcslu.com for more information. Follow us on social media at KFC St. Lucia. Approved by the St. Lucia National Lottery. Terms and conditions apply.
This is We Summer. Get ready for the biggest and wildest deals from Flow.
Summer comes with the best deals for ya. Switch it up, cause this is We Summer. Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Who got the best deals? It's Flow. Bundle postpaid Wi-Fi, you go. Cut a bill in half, save more for sure.
This is We Summer. Bundle broadband now with postpaid and get your bill cut in half. Plus, get up to 4 Samsung Galaxy smartphones for only $4.
50,000 in cash is that. 15,000 in cash, win that.
Win $15,000 in cash when you sign up, switch up, top up, or pay up with Flow.
Summer, Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Flow, keeping you connected. Terms and conditions apply.
It is well known by all solution professional tradesmen and even homeowners that European-made tools are the best. Well, guess what? Europa Hardware is having a massive promotion on the Metabo brand of power tools. From impact drills to angle grinders, jigsaws to rotary hammers, sanders and hot air guns. All at unbeatable, jaw-dropping prices. Don't let your tools let you down. Come to Europa and stay standing with a proud in-the-hand tool from Metabo. Call us at 452-0763 or visit us in Massat Grosile. Europa, we service what we sell.
The CPL is back for 2024, and the St. Lucia Kings are hunting for their first title. This year, it will be the best ever CPL, with global superstars, massive sixes, and incredible entertainment at the biggest party in sport. There are 4 games between September 7th and 15th. Get your tickets now at cplt20.com. Turn it up and experience cricket played louder.
Don't miss out on the biggest sale of the year at Palace House. Everything must go. Half off and less on everything. But that's not all. We also offer wholesale prices on a variety of items and souvenirs, perfect for vendors and retail needs. Visit us today at Mikuta Street or call us at 452-2250. Don't miss out on the biggest sale of the year at Palace House.
Attention men. Are you worried about your prostate? Then get a multi-parametric MRI of the prostate done for only $1,250 from now until the end of September in commemoration of Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Don't guess, know your status. Speak to your doctor or urologist or just make an appointment by calling any of the La Clinique de Corps branches in Castries or Rodney Bay at 451-6559. That's 451-6559.
I've seen your hair before, and I have something special just for you. What have we here? Happy housewarming to me? That's the MNC Home Depot Rewards Card. You'll earn points every time you shop, plus exclusive savings and promotions just for you. Just for me? Yes, just for you. Shop in store or online and enjoy a seamless experience. So I get to treat myself every time I shop? Exactly. It's time to reward yourself.
MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Rewards Card. Sign up and reward yourself today at www.mnchomedepot.com.
At Caribbean Pastors Limited, we offer high-quality products from Martinique, and our ready mix is made with casting sand, not regular pumice. Compared to regular pumice, casting sand saves you in your cement use. At Caribbean Pastors Limited, our materials come from porcelain stones, which is used as an additive in creating cement. Caribbean Pastors Limited is located in Bexon, behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastors Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
Thank you so much for seeing the broadcast. Once again, this is the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM, the broadcast NewsSpin Facebook page, as well as on the YouTube channel. The comments in the chat room, Kimani, what is happening there?
In the chat, someone's dollars came in late. Just plain politics with this money. It didn't come from a heart. Point taking the $10 million for the situation, and they find themselves in, and they don't know how to get out of it. So they are trying to blame the opposition for their failure. The Prime Minister said he is waiting for a bombshell, but his government got bombed. Another comment, I just went this morning to the polyclinic for my meds for high blood pressure and blood sugar, nothing all of this. Maybe it would take a tourist complaining on a national level about the state of our healthcare system for us to see measurable change. Another comment, OKAU is a mess. I was there on Wednesday night. Chairs are turned, beds, patients in the hallway at the ER. Persons have been admitted on sitting on chairs for days. Dr. Wilson, I applaud you for being brutally honest about our healthcare disaster. I hope to see more fearless doctors come out publicly. Someone says, show me how a country deals with their healthcare and law enforcement sector, and I'll tell you everything that you need to know.
We have a WhatsApp call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hello, Tim.
Hi. Good afternoon to you, Rick.
Was that Dr.
Sylvia Wilson?
Sylvia?
Yes, Sylvia Wilson.
Tim, did you hear the tears in her voice?
Yes, and she has many reasons to exhibit this emotion.
Most St. Lucians will know Dr. Sylvia McMahon and Wilson as an energetic, always bon vivant, vibrant, talk a second a minute, a word or whatever the way they say it. She sounded like she was on the verge of crying today. Is that an exaggeration on my part?
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, Tim, just listen to this. The staff nurse recalls a recent case. The other day, I'm quoting, the other day there was this patient in my ward. He'd fallen and fractured his spine. He was lying in his bed in traction. I noticed his condition getting worse. You know, he was trying to cough and couldn't. I did all I could to help him, but it was obvious my efforts were getting nowhere. I called the doctor for help. He asked me to give the patient some oxygen. Well, we ran around the hospital trying to get the oxygen, but all we got were empty containers until we got to the Baron's wing. But the oxygen container we got only had 8 liters left. Of course, the patient hardly took a couple of breaths before the container ran out. Remember, the poor man had been forced to wait for about 7 minutes while we located the oxygen. The doctor, who was by this time almost sick, we've discussed, had to place a special tube in the patient's mouth to facilitate breathing, but the poor man died soon afterwards. I'm not saying the patient would not have died anyway, but it was so horrible running around looking for a cylinder of oxygen and finding none, while all the time the patient was finding it impossible to breathe. It could well have been a case where oxygen at the right time might have saved his life. According to the staff nurse, the senior dispenser explained soon after the case released above, that he has repeatedly asked for oxygen. There are some aid, etc., etc. Oxygen is not the only vital necessity lacking at Victoria Hospital. Bandages are almost non-existent here. The staff nurse said doctors write out what is required, and the patient then has to go out and get his own. Then there is the acute shortage of syringes and needles for injections. In fact, said the nurse, these things are supposed to be disposable. You know, you should use them once and then throw them away. But not at Victoria Hospital. Things are so bad that we have to use the same needle a number of times on different patients. We soak the things in disinfectant like Sablon, acid carb, and Hitane. There's the danger of serious contamination involved, etc. Now, Tim, I think you would agree that part, especially about the bandages, are non-existent and people having to go out and buy their own stuff, etc. That you heard of somebody complaining that very recently.
That's not anything new. That's not anything new, because people have also been complaining, imagine, of the kitchen not having sufficient items there to cook food for patients.
Okay. Did she say that the hospital had closed down?
No, she did not make reference to that. No.
Huh?
No, she made reference to, I think, the health center on Chaussee Road.
Right, okay.
Yes.
But Tim, it might interest you to know, this article that sounds like it was written last week was published in the Star in those days, now and again, on the 25th of October, 25th of October, 1975.
Wow.
That's just a few months short of half a century ago.
Mm-hmm.
And St. Lucians have tolerated that when we had one hospital, and now we're fighting for three? Huh?
We're fighting to have the St. Jude Hospital reopen.
An OKU. I would make three,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So apparently we could not do it with one hospital. We're hearing the same complaints about at OKU. Same complaints that were the norm in 50 years ago. Now I heard the doctor crying, almost crying there, and you put the burden on her and asked her what to do about it. What is the organization, the doctor's organization, going to do about it?
The question I did pose to her is whether, in effect, the association has been too tardy in highlighting those problems.
Okay. Now, the association recently wrote a letter to the hospital or
to the board. To the board.
And what happened? What was the reaction?
But Rick, you know what happened. You know what happened.
She came under severe
attack.
Yeah.
But
I couldn't believe.
As we'll discover later, Richard Frederick is saying, and rightly so, he's saying he never identified anyone who was the target of his attack, and why people are assuming that it is Dr. Merle Clark. But we'll deal with that in just a moment.
Well,
Continue.
I'm not even dealing with the minister. There's a more important factor. I remember also that part of the attempt at degrading and demeaning this very, very pleasant person who is Dr. Merle Clark. Very pleasant person. I only got to know a few months ago, actually. That for her to put her signature to a group, a medical group's complaints, and for her to see her photograph taken at carnival time, presented in a fashion to make her look less than we know she is, to demean her. That picture was not put there to flatter her, it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And all because she made a complaint as part of an organization, medical organization, to a hospital in the best interest of patients. What she said was very much like what Dr. Wilson said this morning, this afternoon, and what 50 years ago. So you think the bad burden should be in SLMDA or on Dr. Alexander or Wilson or any of these nurses? I mean, the article also goes a little, it's too long, I'm not going to read that. What the nurses go through, the trauma of somebody dying in their hands that they could have saved them. That's the trauma. Somebody dying, a child, a baby. Didn't we just have a baby there?
Yeah.
That is also in the story I wrote in 1975.
But Rick,
So
let's look at another issue. If somebody is suffering with cancer and that person is being given, let's say, 3 weeks to a month to live, there's something called...
And they're 90 years old.
Right. There is something called palliative care. Right? You provide that person with a quality of care that will ensure that they suffer in a dignified manner. Far less a 9-month-old baby, far less anybody else who is seeking medical care at a health institution in the island. Under any circumstance at all, you are expecting that they'll be receiving a quality of health care that at least be considered acceptable.
At best humane.
Humane, yes.
Tim, I am at the stage, no matter how healthy I am at the stage that I could tomorrow, after talking to you there, I could find myself in great need of a hospital. And even though I probably wouldn't stay there very long, I still have to stop at a hospital. And what happens at the hospital when I'm taken there is more important, effectively, more important than what might be done for me in the States or if I have to go to Martinique. We always talk about, oh, so-and-so can afford to go to Martinique or so-and-so can go to Trinidad or Jamaica or the same. That amounts to nothing, because what happens to you or doesn't happen to you when you first fall sick right here,
that matters.
Is what is going to determine whether your life can be saved by Martinique or New York or California.
That's true.
So when we are talking, and that's what we say that, and we probably don't realize we're fooling ourselves as well, because when they say, those ministers of government, they can go to Martinique and they can do this, they can do that. Going to Martinique guarantees nothing. But more importantly, the people who cannot go to Martinique, imagine their situation. But it's no different, really, from the people who go to Martinique. In other words, what I'm saying to you is we must have a functioning medical center in this country so that people can at least go there for the first few minutes before they try to fly out of the country. So
I think it is called stabilized. You know, you're stabilized before.
Well, I don't want to call it any names. I want to just speak in layman terms, whatever they call it. That when you fall there, before you can even decide to go to Martinique or whatever it is, you may be unconscious. What they're going to do is take you to the nearest hospital in St. Lucia. So let us not underestimate the importance of having a functioning hospital. And a functioning hospital has no room for goats and cows to be part of the patient crowd. You got to have doctors that are not crazy from abuse at work, dejected. You got to have nurses that are not traumatized, that don't have to work. You got to have people in more or less regular condition themselves, shall I say, in a healthy condition, mentally, psychologically, and otherwise, taking care of you. So it's not just the hospital or even the well-staffed, or you might be able to buy a Band-Aid, which we can't over here. The problem also is the psychological state of the people taking care of you. So everybody is under an abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell me now, if that situation I wrote about happened in 1975 as a constant. And evidently it continues all the way through, despite having more than one hospital, continues. What does that tell you? Who do you think is responsible for that state of affairs?
Our governments, Rick, simply.
Eh?
Our governments and by extension the people for tolerating it.
Well, I'm not going to end by extension. It is the people who are the victims, tomorrow's victims, and today's victims, and their children who should be blamed solely. Nothing goes on in a country without the license of the people. Everything we want to put on the shoulders of the politicians. The primary responsibility rests with the people. So it is the people who are responsible for the kind of medical attention. Well, it's almost as if they figure that's what they deserve and nothing else then. So, I couldn't believe that was the same Dr. Sylvia I know. And that's why I flicked this up to get that story to you. People have to understand the politicians do only what they think will please the people. That's the way it is, Tim. Right now, monies are being thrown out all over the place. I wonder if we hit, I don't know, a lot of money is being thrown around right now, no?
Thrown around in what way?
Pardon me?
Thrown around in what way? You're talking about the $10 million that's been given to the OKU?
The press releases I'm reading everywhere. Mm-hmm. Everybody's getting money and everybody's getting this and whatever. I saw a group of guys.
The Ubuntu movement getting what? $240,000.
Well, I don't want to say they don't deserve it. What I need to say is I don't know anything about them. Do you?
I don't know much about them.
So, but there you go, $240,000. To do what? What exactly are they supposed to be doing with that, Tim?
To address various social problems, particularly in VA4 South.
Social problems in Vieux-Fort. Sounds good, then. Don't you think the hospitals are a bigger social problem than whatever has been going on in Vieux-Fort that warrants $240,000?
We have so many problems. The fact is, all of them need to be addressed.
Well, I'm talking life and death.
Yeah, but Drake, listen to me. All of those issues need to be addressed, but it's a case of those problems are being allowed to mount for so long now. They have been ignored. So all of them now are coming to the surface. And we have to deal with all of them simultaneously. That's the issue. Hello?
I believe all this money is being thrown around. Although what I'm about to say doesn't make any sense, really, when you think about it, I must admit it. Because if you think you put a hotbed of blah, blah, and so and so, you can always say I threw in almost $500,000 down there. Okay? But the hospital, those people, even the people who've received the money to do whatever it is they're supposed to do, they get sick too. And it seemed to me that the protection of life, I've said that over and over, the protection of life has to be by far the number one priority of every government. And setting up buildings that you call hospitals or otherwise, and that is what the doctor was talking about a while ago. That is what last week Merle talked about a while. Merle Clark wrote about. That is what I wrote about in 1975. Something is very, very wrong, and at the root of it, I put the people. And I'm going to go so far as a thing I don't normally say. The people, all of us, regardless of the government that we have, deserve what we get when we are treated as if we were frogs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rick. The broadcast will continue in just a moment. More of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. This is the most monitored talk show in the world.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Vieux-Fort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640, or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
Good morning, students.
Good morning, teacher.
Let's head back to school.
Need to head back to school with a back-to-school loan from First National Bank. Get up to $30,000 for all your back-to-school needs. No deposit required, low interest rates, and an easy process. Visit any First National Bank location or call 455-7127 for more information. Let's head back to school with First National Bank. Terms and conditions apply. First National Bank, here for you.
This is We Summer. Get ready for the biggest and wildest deals from Flow.
Summer comes with the best deals for ya. Switch it up, and this is We Summer. Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Who got the best deals? It's Flow. Bundle postpaid Wi-Fi, you go. Cut a bill in half, save more for sure.
This is We Summer. Bundle broadband now with postpaid and get your bill cut in half. Plus, get up to 4 Samsung Galaxy smartphones for only $4.
50,000 in cash is that. 15,000 in cash, win that.
Win $15,000 in cash when you sign up, switch up, top up, or pay up with Flow.
Summer, Flow says this is We Summer. We Summer. Hey.
Flow, keeping you connected. Terms and conditions apply.
Open and win with Guinness Bike Life under the Crown promotion. Over $100,000 worth of prizes to be won. That's right. Guinness gives you the opportunity to ride away with a brand new motorbike, an ATV, and or $5,000 cash. Lots of other instant prizes to be won, including smart TVs, smartphones, AirPods, Guinness merchandise, fuel vouchers, grocery vouchers, free Guinness, and lots of cash. To participate in the grand prize draw for the motorbike, you need to collect 6 Guinness crowns, 3 of the left bike symbol and 3 of the right bike symbol. Place the 6 crowns in an envelope with name, address, and contact number. To participate in the grand prize draw for the ATV, you need to collect 6 Guinness smooth crowns, 3 of the left ATV symbol and 3 of the right ATV symbol. Place the 6 crowns in an envelope with name, address, and contact number. Envelopes can be picked up and dropped off at the following locations: Heineken St. Lucia Warehouse in Union Castries and SDI Warehouse, St. Jude's Viewport. Promotion starts August 15th through to October 15th. Draw takes place October 22nd. Drink and live responsibly. This promotion is approved by the St. Lucia National Lotteries.
St. Lucia, get ready for the ultimate flavor explosion at KFC. Introducing the new Bacon Melt Sandwich. That's right, the crispy, juicy KFC chicken you love, topped with melted cheese, crispy bacon, and your choice of mayo or barbecue sauce, all nestled in a soft sesame seed bun.
Let your taste buds ready, come and try. KFC's new Bacon Melt Sandwich is great, no lie. Crispy chicken, bacon, cheese flavor certified with mayo or barbecue, anyone you must try. For just $25, get this combo deal. Fries and a drink, it's a steal. Head to KFC, cause you don't wanna miss a Bacon Melt Sandwich, have it on your list.
Available at all KFC locations island-wide. WhatsApp 484-0400 or visit kfcslu.com for delivery and more.
Gade mweti boy, pa fe la fimela.
Stop all that smoke, fume, and noise. Keep the emissions to zero and be a hero for the environment. You can still do all your lawn mowing, brush cutting, leaf blowing, hedge trimming, even chainsawing, but with a battery-powered machine. Europa is now offering a buy one get one free on professional battery tools. When you buy the tool, we'll throw in the battery absolutely free. Yes, you heard right. You get one free battery with the purchase of any steel professional machine.
PS la fime, PS Desord, merci papa.
Visit Europa in Massad, Grosley, or call us at 452-0763. Europa, we service what we sell.
Attention men, are you worried about your prostate? Then get a multi-parametric MRI of the prostate done for only $1,250 from now until the end of September in commemoration of Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Don't guess, know your status. Speak to your doctor or urologist, or just make an appointment by calling any of the La Clinique de Corps branches in Castries or Rodney Bay at 451-6559. That's 451-6559.
The CPL is back for 2024, and the St. Lucia Kings are hunting for their first title. This year, it will be the best ever CPL, with global superstars, massive sixes, and incredible entertainment at the biggest party in sport. There are 4 games between September 7th and 15th. Get your tickets now at cplt20.com. Turn it up and experience cricket played louder.
To have a strong structure, you must have a strong foundation. And at Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer top quality aggregate materials at great prices. We supply high quality ready mix, casting sand and plastering sand. We also take special requests for specific materials that you may require for your building projects. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
Ouais, messieurs, pas jodi moi la ka espérer plein bon glow. Si t'en la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, me money pressure. Ou ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka ale ko Europa. Yo ni tout pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pomme pour cette ici. Yo ka ranger pomme aussi qui besoin service. Brand pump yo c'est Léo. Pump ça c'est Major. I bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Glo ka fante. Europa ni pump glo Léo en pour les 9, orange et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452-0763.
I've never heard that a government in power takes to the street to protest, to say to people that they support the government. Because that's what a march is. A march is always about a protest, about something that you're not pleased with, etc. and so forth, and you bring the action to the fore. So I am saying to St. Lucia, I mean, this is just a fallacy. And Philip J. Pierre, if you, as you said in your interview, that your protest march is to show the people of St. Lucia, to say that the people of St. Lucia, they agree to your policies and they like your policies, there's only one way to do that, my friend. One way to do that. The ballot box. Call elections if you want to have a perspective as to whether St. Lucians love your policy and have benefited from it and they are in favor of it. Call elections, they'll vote you again. They will kick UWP out just the same way. But there are too many issues, Andre, for people to go to the streets and to say that they are unhappy. Too many. They take to the streets about the state of healthcare in this country. Take to the streets about the poor roads condition in this country. Take to the streets about the lack of accountability, our missing CIP money. Take to the streets about the lies being perpetuated by this government. Take to the streets about the high cost of living. Take to the street about the lies about the 2.5% levy. Can you believe, Andre? The Prime Minister said we're collecting the levy for health and security. And this week makes an announcement that he's going to take $10 million from CIP.
I don't understand that.
For EU. But where's the money for the 2.5% levy? Why don't you take it from the government's coffers? Why is it coming from CIP? When I tell you them people lying, Andre, you don't believe me? You'll see. Take to the streets for that St. Lucia. Take to the streets for the 53 people so far that has been murdered in this country. Take to the streets for all these issues for non-sustainable job. And let me tell you something, St. Lucia, as I close. You see, you, the men and women that are being bribed because of back to school, you need to send your children to school. So they give you a little voucher and tell you have to come and match. So we'll give you the voucher to buy school supplies for your children. Don't allow people to use you and bribe you for pennies. If you don't want to go on match, Pap will have your pie match. And if you don't want to go on match, take the money because it's my money, our money, and still don't go on match. Disgusting people. I saw Lisa interviewing a little child. You saw that, Andre? A little girl who just passed common entrance. Lisa Jawai is interviewing the child and asking her, do you know about the government laptop program? She said, yes, she just passed for Corinth. And she said, yes, I like the fact I'm going to get a laptop. And Lisa is asking the child, do you think St. Lucian should go out on Sunday to march to say that they support the government because of that? You asking a little 13-year-old that? Disgusting woman.
Nancy Giles of the Opposition United Workers' Party. I think the St. Lucia Labour Party and the Prime Minister by extension certainly would have gotten plaudits had they decided to have a march against crime in St. Lucia. Because for me, that is the dominant issue. That is the issue that is causing so much pain and grief to so many families in this country. In particular, those homicides that are occurring through the use of illegal guns and ammunition. Those guns are entering our borders. And we cannot protect and police our borders against those entries, those contrabands. And we have a government, we have a prime minister. They are responsible for the protection of the people. So why should you give priority to your SLP remaining in office, to you pushing down the throats of the people of this country what you perceive to be successes recorded by your government, when you are not taking heed and paying attention to a scourge that is so debilitating, that has taken so many lives in this country? We talk about 53 or 54 homicides. But let's talk about the families were impacted. And if you multiply 53 by at least 5, and the tragic circumstances under which those incidents are occurring, a 13-year-old gunned down in his home, a 17-year-old gunned down. I mean, we let's not forget what the people of VA4 South went through a few months ago in St. Lucia. It was murder after murder. One other issue that was addressed by the Prime Minister during his appearance on Rev Up St. Lucia today, CIP. And we've heard McLeod is an adult. We heard that McLeod is part of this RICO case. And we heard that St. Lucia is not made a subject of this legal matter. But yet still, we are paying McLeod's legal bills. Let's listen to the Prime Minister on this issue.
There is no case against the government. There is no case against the government of St. Lucia. There is a RICO case against individuals.
Right. So
but even though you misled.
So no problem, because you're here to educate us. So,
yes.
So who are these individuals in St. Lucia?
But they mentioned them. Claude Emmanuel. Is it Claude? Claude Emmanuel alone for now.
So he's the only one.
That's in the defendant list for now. And the guy in from two prime ministers in St. Kitts and
well, we're not worried about that.
Yes.
We're just worried about St. Lucia.
Yes.
So for now, it is Mr. Claude Emmanuel.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So does Mr. Claude Emmanuel have legal representation?
Of course.
Okay. And who is paying the fees and so on?
Mr. Claude Emmanuel is in the RICO situation as the general manager of the CIP program. He's there in his personal capacity, and his fees have to be paid by the CIP program. And there is no case against the government. There is no case against the government of St. Lucia. There is a RICO case against individuals.
Right. So
but you misled.
So no problem, because
yes.
you're here to educate us.
Yes.
So who are these individuals in St. Lucia?
But they mentioned them. Claude Emmanuel. Is it Claude? Claude Emmanuel alone for now.
So he's the only one.
That's in the defendant list for now. And the guy in from two prime ministers in St. Kitts and
well, we're not worried about that.
Yes.
We're just worried about St. Lucia.
Yes.
So for now, it is Mr. Claude Emmanuel.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So does Mr. Claude Emmanuel have legal representation?
Of course.
Okay. And who is paying the fees and so on?
Mr. Claude Emmanuel is in the RICO situation as the general manager of the CIP program. He's there in his personal capacity, and his fees have to be paid by the CIP program.
Is there in his personal capacity, yet still we are the ones footing the bill. Make that make sense for all of us who are watching and listening to this broadcast. Comments in the chat room, Kimani.
Someone says his fees have to be paid by CIP. Another comment, wait, his fees are CIP program. Another comment in the chat, someone says, SLP never stops campaigning. I'll give them that. Someone says, exactly, Nancy. Marches are historically and traditionally symbolic of protest and disagreement. Rick, the people have failed themselves by putting selected politicians first. Another comment, all the power is in the hands of the people. We are too passive and accepting as a people, to the point that our healthcare has gone to the dogs while money is lavishly spent by the government. Yep, we are to be blamed. We deserve what we get. Rick is very correct. Someone says, Rick, I always say the problem is not the government. We, the citizens, are the problem. Governments come and go. The people have failed themselves, again, by putting selected politicians first. Someone says, St. Lucians, open your eyes. Money being thrown around in St. Lucia like water. Not one person is asking where. Since the CIP issue began, PJP's finding money everywhere.
Somebody says that $250,000 to Ubuntu. I think it's by the way, it's $240,000. $240,000 to Ubuntu movement to address social problems in VA4. I'm from VA4, and that's the first time I'm hearing about this. Some people are lining their pockets big time, capitalizing on the grief of VA4ians. It'll be interesting to know the composition of that group. Example, how many VA4ians are
Someone says, I remember when Chas was in power, they had no oxygen half a day, and the SLP brought down brimstones and fire, and today not a word from them. I don't have to tell you it's raining and see it's raining. Politicians need to stop playing on the psyche of St. Lucians.
Another WhatsApp message. The Prime Minister has so many PR people working in his office, and yet none prepared him for these potential things. It would have been better if he had just taken the decision to address and condemn criminal acts in this country than to attack Andre. That's what he did. He attacked him and tried to use his friendship to stop Andre from asking him the hard-pressing questions that he has avoided from the press and NewsSpin. This interview with Andre just exposed how unprepared he is, and that is coming from someone who said he is the most readied Prime Minister ever.
Someone is asking Tim, what's the reports on the Consulate General over in Martinique? Is it in operation? Our people in this island are desperate to get their documents renewed and desperate to get their passport, and the Consulate General has no service forthcoming.
Another person says, but Tim, ICA got $20,000 to celebrate Marcus Garvey's birthday. So wasn't Peter Chico in court as acting Comptroller of Customs? Why didn't government pay his legal fees?
The situation on the ground calls for public servants to put their tools down. It's bad, really bad. Someone says doctors, nurses, and police officers should voice their issues more. Another comment, pan bottoms need beating up just like during the pandemic.
Another WhatsApp message, St. Lucians are paying for their sins because they lied on Chasney and Guy, accusing him of all sorts, rejoicing that Chasney and Guy will go to jail. My response was, all of you will go to jail before Chasney. He tried to save their lives and that of the children, but they turned on him. Shame on them. He is campaigning for votes. If Martinez didn't come out and expose CIP, they wouldn't have given out those monies to OKEU and the Rastas.
Someone says sometimes it takes a devastation caused by a natural disaster to open people's eyes and bring them back to their senses.
Another person says, hearing Dr. Wilson and Rick Wayne talk about our health care is scary and disappointing. Many St. Lucians will perish under this government. The St. Lucia Labour Party is indeed preparing for defeat.
Someone on YouTube says, the PM speaks with so much anger. Another comment, why doesn't PJP make himself available on this talk show program on this radio station? He said it's not a biased person, but is he just saying it?
Another person says, did the CEO of OKEU left, did not have his contract renewed? That is what is floating around. Well, I saw a letter purportedly written by the CEO of OKEU claiming that he has decided not to renew his contract and proceeding on vacation, but I cannot vouch for the authenticity of that letter. I'm sure at some point in time, maybe next week, we'll be hearing from the Ministry of Health, or we should, maybe, I don't know, from the Ministry of Health on that particular development. 4522979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's take a call on the landline. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, Tim, how you doing?
I'm okay. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah, Tim, I know time is short. Tim, the last time I heard you said we're in a free country, democratic country.
Yeah, we're supposed to be.
I will never, never agree with you there. We are not in a free democratic country at all, at all. If that's how freedom is, I don't want to be part of it. We are more communist on the slavery than I have ever seen or heard before. Tim, well, Julian Alfred have made us very proud, and St. Lucia on the map and so on. On the other hand, there's a next fly or whatever destroying this nation. So there is evil and good fighting. Julian Alfred have put us on the map because proud, you know, and so on. But on the other hand, we have a big thing hanging over our head, as I said, the CIP scandal that is destroying not only some part of the Caribbean, but all the Caribbean. And everybody seems to be quiet. Everybody is saying, oh, this is a product of me or that and so on. But nobody is taking the blame of the CIP scandal. And we have no other choice than to listen to Martinez, whatever his name is. Because while Martinez is coming out and talk all these things, nobody is coming out and say nothing. Some people say, or persons say, or my prime minister say he's waiting for the RICO case and so on. And well, that we are going down the road, drowning in the water, he is waiting. Just want to confirm something there. A while ago, I heard you play a clip that our prime minister say that what's happening, whatever and so on, when the prime minister of Antigua came out and really condemned crime, which he only has, and I won't say only because one crime is too many, only have 12 and we have 50 something, and he's coming out and condemn it with a passion and taking responsibility. And I heard my prime minister, if I'm not wrong, if my ears are good enough, say, oh, don't compare me with this and that and so on. But why sometimes we say, oh, Guyana have 24, Jamaica have 100, and we only have 50. When it's bad, we compare it. When it's good, we don't to compare it. We should come out and condemn all these things happening, just as that Prime Minister of Antigua said a while ago. Tim, I have to touch on one thing, but next week it's time already.
Okay.
The guy that said, I'm not saying it to he alone. We have a guy from, and I'm not talking politics there. I'm standing on the word of God. Whichever guy from Miku South say he was praying, I think, if I heard him right, and God confirmed to him to go up against the opposition leader. I want to tell that guy I want him to call me. 7160685. Because I want to just caution him. Not only him, but a lot of people, especially politicians, that come out and say, God, I was praying and God tell me. People come and say, God, even Christians say, God tell me. I want to speak to all these people.
Okay, Colin.
God tell you, just give me 1 second. God tell you in Miku South is in a desperate position, but he tell you that Viewfort Hospital, Castries Hospital, the whole country is in dead order needs. Tell that guy call me, please. I sure he's heard me. Thanks very much, Tim.
Thank you so much. WhatsApp message, somebody says that, Tim, I listened to the Prime Minister and I must express how disappointed I am. It's a clear demonstration of weak leadership on the part of our Prime Minister. We have our leadership problem in St. Lucia. We also have weak leadership at the helm of the police, among others. We, the citizens of St. Lucia, deserve and demand better from our leaders. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, good day, Tim. As a fellow physician, I strongly agree with Dr. Wilson's contribution. There is a dire need for protocols for the hospitals and the necessary disciplinary actions for the clinical staff who fail to perform their duty. The government needs to do a complete reform of the healthcare system. Final comments in the chat room, Kimani?
Someone on YouTube says, Brother Harris doesn't like his health. He continues to watch and listen to the news.
He can't help it.
Another YouTube comment, the government is doing everything possible to look good for Sunday. Someone else says on YouTube, with less than 2 weeks for school to reopen, government is now working on repairs at the Auger Combined School. Well, Auger, I think. Combined School. I'm wondering what those people going out to the March for Progress are hearing about these complaints. Someone else says, not their fault, Nancy. They have no choice. The parents need some money and they are being used as puppets in the country. That's it for me, Tim.
So next week, God spare, from Monday, we'll be focusing on the police commissioner because The press conference is long overdue. Her final day on the job. 8 more days left for her to be on the job. Today is the 23rd. Let's see if she will call that press conference next week. And wherever you are, Kimani, I'll be keeping you updated on this, and also be focusing on that Zelev statement that was made recently. We have some, analysis to make on this particular issue. Final comments from you, Kimani. That's your final appearance on this NewsSpin program in this capacity. I'm sure, God spare my life, God spare yours. At some point in time, you will make another appearance on the broadcast. I believe so.
Well, Tim, I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to sit with you on the most monitored talk show in the world, and I appreciate that your platform also gave me the opportunity to meet some wonderful people in the chat, in person, everywhere around the planet. And I'm so grateful for the news spinners, the listeners, the viewers, yourself especially, for giving me this platform, and I enjoyed every single second of it.
You're welcome, ma'am, and all the best to you.
Thank you.
I know that you'll make yourself, your family, and your country proud, and I'm looking forward to. I don't know if I'll still be around by the time you complete your studies.
You're speaking like Rick now.
I don't know if I'll be alive, or I don't know if I'll still be on this broadcast, or if I'll be. But I hope I'll be around at least to wish you congratulations and to converse with you. All right. So all the best to you.
Thank you, Em.
Yes. Have a safe flight. And, of course, I was hoping that you will be able to meet the challenge head on. I have no doubt that you'll be able to do that. Our NewsSpin news of the day. Taliban bans the sound of women's voices singing or reading in public. Our NewsSpin news of the day. Taliban bans the sound of women's voices singing or reading in public. The question of the day. Our NewsSpin question of the day. Why walk the walk and not talk the talk? Why walk the walk and not talk the talk? No doubt, have yourself a great and enjoyable weekend, and we are all set for another interesting week of NewsSpin next week. My name is Timothy Poleon. Be safe, and goodbye to you.